The Dallas Cowboys are about to flip the entire NFL upside down in 2026, and most fans have no idea what's coming right now. Every single Cowboys fan across the globe is asking one question: is this finally the year? Is 2026 the year Dallas stops being a wait until next year team and actually does something? Because let me tell you something, what I'm about to break down in the next 2 hours is going to completely change how you see this Cowboys roster, this schedule, and this season. We're talking about a Brazil game, a Thanksgiving showdown, a new head coach in year 2, George Pickens locked in, and a schedule that could either make or break this team. So buckle up, because we are not stopping until every single thing is covered. Stay until the end because the last segment will genuinely shock you. Let's start with the schedule because this is where everything begins. The full 2026 NFL schedule drops on May 14th, and we already know some massive games. Week 1. Road game. New York Giants. Sunday Night Football. September 13th. MetLife Stadium. Let that sink in. The Cowboys are opening the season on the biggest stage in the NFL, prime time, national audience, and they're doing it on the road. Now historically, Dallas has opened against the Giants 12 times before and won 11 of those games. 11 out of 12. That is dominance. But this year is different. John Harbaugh, yes, that John Harbaugh, Super Bowl winner, 18-year Ravens head coach, is now the Giants head coach. This is not the same Giants team anymore. This is a wake-up call right from Week 1. Week 3 takes things to a whole new level. Dallas versus Baltimore Ravens, but not in Dallas, not in Baltimore. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This is the first ever NFL game on Brazilian soil, and the Cowboys are part of it. Think about what this means for the brand, for the exposure, for the players. This is history being made in real time. Week 12. Thanksgiving Day. Home. Philadelphia Eagles. This is the game Cowboys fans have been circling since the moment it was announced. The last time these two teams met on Thanksgiving was 2014. Now they're back. And trust me, with the NFC East rivalry at the level it's at right now, this game is going to be electric. The Cowboys won their last Thanksgiving game 31-28 against the Kansas City Chiefs, which by the way was the most watched regular season game in NFL history with 57 million viewers. That energy is coming back. Now let's talk opponents overall. The Cowboys face the entire NFC West this year: Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, Cardinals. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. The 49ers and Rams are legitimate contenders. This is one of the hardest schedules any team could draw. But you know what? Hard schedules make legendary seasons. And if Dallas can go through that gauntlet, nobody will be able to say anything about them. FanDuel has the Cowboys win total set at 9.5. Vegas is saying they're right on the bubble. But here's the thing about Vegas: they underestimated this team before. And they might be doing it again. Let's talk about the head coach situation because this is arguably the most important story of the entire 2026 Cowboys season. Brian Schottenheimer finished his first year as head coach at 7-9-1. Now some people look at that and say that's a failure. I look at that and say, for a first-year head coach inheriting a roster in transition, dealing with a new system, new staff, new energy, 7-9-1 is a foundation. It's not a ceiling. Year 2 is where head coaches either prove themselves or get exposed. And historically, second-year head coaches in the NFL show massive improvement. They know their players now. They know what works. They know what doesn't. The scheme becomes second nature. The locker room trust is built. Schottenheimer has had the entire offseason to fix what went wrong in 2025. The defense was a major issue, middle linebacker was a concern all year. But the Cowboys made significant moves to address that. They interviewed 9 different defensive coordinator candidates. 9. That tells you how seriously this organization is taking the defensive rebuild. They went through Zach Orr, Christian Parker, DeMarcus Covington, Jim Leonard, Jonathan Gannon. They did their homework. The new DC, whoever it is, has a full offseason to install their system. On the offensive side, Schottenheimer with Dak Prescott healthy and a full offseason of chemistry with the weapons they have, this offense could be dangerous. And we're going to talk about those weapons in detail right now. Dak Prescott. Let's be real for a second. When Dak is healthy and on, he is a top 10 quarterback in this league, no debate. The problem has always been staying on the field and getting the right pieces around him at the right time. In 2026 he has both. CeeDee Lamb is still the WR1. Still elite. Still one of the most dangerous receivers in the entire NFL. When you have CeeDee Lamb running routes, every single defensive coordinator has to account for him on every single play. That opens up everything else. And now add George Pickens. George Pickens signed his franchise tag and is officially a Dallas Cowboy going into 2026 with a full season under his belt. His breakout year in Dallas in 2025 was not a fluke, the tape doesn't lie. This man is a physical freak at receiver, fights for every ball, and plays with an edge that offensive coordinators dream about. CeeDee on one side, Pickens on the other, that is a nightmare pairing for any secondary in the NFL. Any secondary. At running back, Javonte Williams is in the mix. After coming over to Dallas, he brings a tough, physical running style that complements what this offense wants to do. Between the tackles, through the line, and catching out of the backfield, Williams gives Dak another option that keeps defenses honest. Tight end Jake Ferguson rounds out the skill positions. Ferguson has been one of the more underrated tight ends in the league, and as a safety valve for Dak, he has been incredibly consistent. The fact that he's now an engaged man, Jake Ferguson and Haley Cavender just celebrated a special milestone. That kind of personal stability often translates to on-field focus and production. Good vibes all around for number 87. The offensive line is the key to everything though. If that line can protect Dak and create lanes for the run game, this offense becomes truly unstoppable. The Cowboys used the offseason to add at guard, bringing in rookie free agent DJ Wingfield after a successful minicamp tryout. He may not start day one, but having depth and competition at every position makes the whole unit better. This is the segment Cowboys fans have been dreading, and rightfully so. Because the defense in 2025 was not good enough. Simple as that. But here is why 2026 is different. Start with Donovan Ezeiruaku at outside linebacker. This is a guy entering his second season who showed flashes of being a legitimate pass rusher in year one. Now with a full offseason of NFL training, NFL film study, and an established role, he is primed for a breakout. In a defense that desperately needs pass rush production after the Micah Parsons trade, Ezeiruaku is the guy Dallas is betting on to step up. And from everything coming out of Frisco, the coaches believe in him completely. Let's talk about that Micah Parsons trade for a second. Yes, Parsons is gone. That is still a wound that hasn't fully healed for Cowboys fans. He was generational. He was a force of nature every single week. But the Cowboys got draft capital back, multiple picks in the 2026 draft, including the number 12 overall pick. That means this rebuild has fuel. That means the Cowboys can add blue-chip talent to replace what was lost. And that's where Jaishawn Barham comes in. Third-round pick. Linebacker and edge hybrid. The tape on this kid is filthy. He reads plays quickly, gets off blocks, and has the athleticism to rush the passer and cover in space. In today's NFL, where tight ends and running backs are weapons out of the backfield, having a linebacker who can actually cover is worth its weight in gold. Barham might be the sleeper of this entire draft class nationally. Cowboys fans should know his name by heart right now. Middle linebacker was flagged as the biggest concern on this defense, and the front office addressed it aggressively. Mickey Spagnuolo has been talking about the moves already made and the potential for more. The Cowboys understand that you cannot win games in the modern NFL without a legitimate thumper in the middle of your defense who can stop the run, cover the middle of the field, and lead the defense. They are not ignoring this, they are attacking it. The secondary also needs to come together. The Cowboys face elite quarterbacks on their schedule. They will see Jalen Hurts twice, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, and coming off a Super Bowl win, Geno Smith's Seattle Seahawks. The corners and safeties need to step up in a major way. The investment in the defensive rebuild has to show up in the back end of this defense, or all the pass rush in the world won't matter. The NFC East is the most intense division in football. Has been for decades. Will be in 2026. Let's run through every rival. Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys face them twice. Home on Thanksgiving, away sometime in the regular season. The Eagles are legitimate NFC contenders every single year. Jalen Hurts when healthy is a problem that no defense has fully solved. The Eagles' offensive line is one of the best in football. This is a two-game series that could absolutely determine whether Dallas makes the playoffs or goes home early. Washington Commanders. This team is on the rise. They have a young quarterback who is developing, a solid coaching staff, and a fanbase that is genuinely energized. The Cowboys have dominated this rivalry historically, but Washington in 2026 is not a pushover. These are 4 points in the standings that Dallas cannot take for granted. New York Giants. Already talked about Week 1, but the home game against the Giants matters just as much. John Harbaugh changes everything about this franchise. He brings discipline, elite game management, and a culture of winning that the Giants haven't had in years. The Cowboys go 2-0 against the Giants every year in their heads, but they need to actually do it on the field. The NFC East might put 2 or 3 teams in the playoffs in 2026. That means every divisional game is essentially a playoff game. Dallas cannot afford to sleep on anyone in this division. They can't give games to Washington. They can't let the Giants steal one in December. Every single point matters. Let's zoom out and talk about something bigger than just wins and losses for a second, the global stage. Because the Dallas Cowboys are not just an NFL team. They are the most valuable sports franchise on the planet. And the NFL knows that putting the Cowboys in Brazil for the first ever game on Brazilian soil is not an accident. This is a marketing masterstroke. Brazil has over 215 million people. Soccer is king there obviously, but NFL viewership in Brazil has been growing at an explosive rate over the last decade. When the NFL first started playing games in London, people said it would never work. Now London games sell out instantly. Brazil is the next frontier and the Cowboys are the face of this expansion. For the players, traveling to Rio de Janeiro mid-season brings challenges. Time zone adjustment, travel fatigue, routine disruption, field conditions at a non-traditional NFL venue. These are real concerns that the coaching staff and training staff have to manage. But the Cowboys have the organizational infrastructure to handle this better than most franchises. They travel in style, prepare meticulously, and Brian Schottenheimer will have a full plan for keeping the team sharp. For the fans, if you can get to Rio for that game, you are witnessing history. Full stop. First ever NFL game in Brazil, Cowboys vs. Ravens, in one of the most beautiful cities on earth. That is a bucket list moment for any football fan anywhere in the world. Alright, this is what everyone has been waiting for. What does 2026 actually look like for the Dallas Cowboys? Let's break it down honestly. The schedule is tough. NFC West opponents are elite. NFC East divisional games are always wars. But the Cowboys have talent. They have a second-year head coach who learned hard lessons in year one. They have a franchise quarterback. They have 2 elite wide receivers. They have draft capital they spent on defensive players who can actually play. Here is the realistic scenario breakdown. Best case, Dak stays healthy all 17 games. Pickens builds on his 2025 breakout and becomes a genuine WR1 threat opposite CeeDee. The new defensive coordinator installs a system that brings out the best in Ezeiruaku and Barham. Dallas goes 11-6, wins the NFC East, and makes a deep playoff run. This is not a fantasy. This is genuinely achievable if everything clicks. Most likely scenario: Cowboys finish 10-7 or 11-6, make the playoffs as a wild card or division winner, win one playoff game and lose in the divisional round. It's the classic Cowboys trajectory, and honestly, given the talent and the schedule, it's a reasonable projection. Vegas at 9.5 is conservative. This team has more upside than that number suggests. Worst case, injuries hit the offensive line or Dak goes down. The defensive rebuild takes longer than expected. They finish 8-9, miss the playoffs, and another year of wait until next year begins. Nobody wants this, but it's a reality you have to acknowledge. The X factor in all of this: Brian Schottenheimer. If he proves he can make the game adjustments that he struggled with in 2025, if he can manage clock, manage situations, and keep this team disciplined in close games, the Cowboys have everything they need to have a special season. The talent is there. The question has always been execution and coaching. Year 2 is Judgment Day for Schottenheimer. So there you have it, 2 hours of everything you need to know about the 2026 Dallas Cowboys. From the schedule to the roster to the rivalries to the global stage to the playoff picture. This team is not perfect. But no team ever is going into a season. What the Cowboys have is potential, real, genuine, legitimate potential to make 2026 the year that everyone shuts up about Dallas being just a regular season team. The schedule drops fully on May 14th. Keep your eyes locked. Because the moment that full slate comes out, the preparation begins. And this channel will have every breakdown, every analysis, every deep dive you need all the way through to the Super Bowl. If this video gave you value, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me your Cowboys win total prediction for 2026, and subscribe because we are not stopping the coverage anytime soon. Star Wars, Cowboy Nation, we ride together. See you in the next one.